Okay, so right now, there's this massive conflict playing out across the globe. We're witnessing a totally unprecedented transition to electric vehicle fleets. Literally, millions of heavy duty trucks, delivery vans, and corporate cars, they're all plugging in. But here's the catch, they're crashing headfirst into a massive wall, an overwhelmed, seriously backlogged power grid. I mean, what actually happens when our demand for energy just completely outpaces the infrastructure built to deliver it? Let's dive right into it. For years, the conversation around electrification was firmly rooted in, green sustainability and hitting climate goals. But we really need a reality check here. As these fleets actually hit the pavement, that idealized focus on saving the planet, well, it's taking a backseat to a much more practical, hard-nosed concern. The transition has officially shifted from theory to operational reality. The whole industry mindset has completely shifted. At a recent ACT Expo panel, experts from massive logistics and tech companies all pretty much agreed. The Wild West phase is over. Now, it's squarely about survival, economics, and total cost of ownership. It's all about figuring out how to make these fleets highly profitable and, frankly, relentlessly reliable. John Harris, the CEO of Harbinger, actually hit the nail on the head. He noted there's no better sales tool for EVs than fuel at $8. High fuel prices and a lower total cost of ownership are actually the absolute strongest drivers pushing companies toward electric vehicles right now. Think about it. If the math makes sense, businesses are going to make the leap. It's really that simple. Welcome to the 2026 Fleet Reality Check, Economics, Gridlock, and the Unplugged Future. Today, we're diving straight into the pure economics, the severe gridlock, and the unplugged technologies stepping up to solve this whole mess. Look, we aren't just talking about passenger cars anymore. According to Euroelectric, corporate fleets now account for roughly 60% of all new car sales in Europe and virtually all van and truck sales. Heavy-duty fleets represent the next massive frontier, and let me tell you, they are demanding absolutely vast amounts of electricity. And the global momentum here is just staggering. EV sales have officially crossed that critical 20% global market share threshold, and that's heavily driven by China at 48% and Europe at 29%. But with this super rapid global expansion comes the primary villain in today's explainer. That villain? The infrastructure bottleneck. The grid is just completely overwhelmed right now. Utility companies are hopelessly backlogged. If a logistics company wants to electrify a fleet and rely on a traditional fixed charging depot, they're looking at years of planning, massive upfront capital, and complex grid upgrades that just aren't ready yet. Seriously, you can have a massive yard full of shiny new electric trucks and absolutely no way to charge them. It's wild. So to solve this, the industry is pivoting hard. Think about the old expectation for a second. Fixed depot charging. It requires insanely high upfront costs, it's painfully slow to deploy, and it is entirely dependent on that bottlenecks grid we just talked about. Now contrast that with the agile new reality, mobile charging. We're talking low upfront capital, deployment in literally days, and it completely bypasses gridlock right at the point of use. Talk about a total game changer.
And this shift is powering a brand new business model called Charging as a Service, or CAS. Instead of a fleet manager dropping millions of dollars on a substation and fixed chargers, they just buy a flexible subscription. CAS bundles the whole shebang, the hardware, the software, and the maintenance, or even delivers mobile power directly to the vehicles. It takes this massive, risky capital expenditure and turns it into a highly predictable, manageable, operational expense.
Let's look at a concrete, real-world example of this mobile revolution. Check out the patent-pending EVE system from EVE Everywhere. Picture this, a 5-megawatt-hour battery and multiple megawatt charging systems, all mounted on a standard semi-trailer. It's basically a massive power bank on wheels. It charges up at utility solar farms during the day when energy is super cheap, and then just drives right over the off-grid truck fleets to charge them up at night. Let's break down the exact math on this to see how these mobile chargers actually achieve ROI. According to a breakdown by ZapMe, if you operate a single 75 kilowatt mobile charger for just 6 hours a day, you can make a profit on the energy margin plus a flat service fee per session. That adds up to a daily gross profit of £172.50. That's over £44,000 a year from just one single unit. But you know what? Mobile batteries are just the beginning. 25.7%. That is the staggering compound annual growth rate of an incredibly futuristic, yet very real, new sector we're seeing emerge. Yep, we're talking about an absolute explosion in the autonomous charging robot market. According to Dimension Market Research, this sector is skyrocketing from $1.18 billion in 2025 to over an astonishing $9.25 billion by 2034. We're looking at smart robots that literally drive around facilities, locate the vehicles, and plug them in without any human intervention whatsoever. No way, right?
These robots are showing up everywhere. They're charging EV fleets in depots, powering autonomous mobile robots in those massive e-commerce logistics warehouses, keeping smart factories running smoothly, and even supporting service robotics in places like hospitals and public infrastructure. Basically, they completely eliminate the manual labor and make sure operations can run continuously 24/7. Now, while robots and mobile batteries are tackling the delivery of the power, there's another massive shift happening upstream, right inside the batteries themselves. Manufacturers are actively moving away from those expensive high-nickel performance batteries. Instead, they're pivoting to more affordable lithium iron phosphate, or LFP, chemistries. LG Energy Solution notes the shift is entirely driven by the need to lower costs and boost return on investment for commercial fleets, which, if you think about it, ties right back to that intense focus on total cost of ownership we talked about earlier.
So, to manage all these different batteries, robots, and mobile chargers, fleets need a serious brain. Enter artificial intelligence. AI and software-defined vehicles are digesting massive amounts of telematics data. The result? Well, AutoFleet reports that by using AI for predictive maintenance and dynamic routing, fleets have actually slashed vehicle downtime by up to an astonishing 71%. Honestly, that is a massive competitive advantage. All right, moving on to the 2026 reality check, regulated digital infrastructure. We've seen the tech and the economics, but 2026 marks a totally new era. Just look at how fast the standards are evolving here. Pre-2020s, chargers were basically just plug and play. Then we saw early smart charging. But looking ahead to 2026, new regulations demand advanced cybersecurity and really strict communication protocols. We're talking ISO 15118, which enables seamless plug and charge, and OCCP 2.0.1 and 2.1 for complex back-office integration. Chargers are no longer just dumb electrical hardware, they are highly regulated networked computers. As the Versanetic Industry Guide puts it, and this is a great warning, charging has officially grown up. Fleets that still treat infrastructure as an afterthought are about to feel it. Compliance and hardware choices get locked in very early in the planning phase. If fleets fail to prepare for these new, super strict digital standards today, they're going to face massive operational pain and really expensive retrofits down the road. Well, we've covered some incredible ground in this explainer today. As the hard-nosed economic reality of 2026 sets in, you really have to look at your own operations. Is your infrastructure currently a bottlenecked liability, or are you building it out right now to be a flexible, highly profitable competitive advantage? Something to think about.